Blood splattered as its body convulsed violently before finally going still. The tactical dagger was stained with blood, yet showed no signs of wear. A kitchen knife is just a kitchen knife, but upgraded, it becomes a titanium tactical dagger, a true weapon for killing. Zhang Chao gasped heavily, still in shock. Just moments ago, the thick comforter in his hands had been shredded by the mutated creature, coming dangerously close to slashing his chest. He had no doubt that if it made contact, his clothes and chest would be torn apart. Meanwhile, Wang Cheng quickly disposed of the bodies of the two monsters and glanced outside, near the dormitory door. The familiar corridor on the 7th floor of the dormitory had turned into hell. Some dorm room doors were tightly shut, while others were wide open, with screams coming from within. Students were running frantically in the corridor, completely panicked, most heading towards the stairs and elevators. However, at the end of the corridor where room 703 was located, there were surprisingly few people and monsters. Blood splattered the walls and ceiling, and some mutated creatures were already feasting on their prey, devouring it with gusto. Others were chasing fleeing students, while some wandered like ghosts, hovering in front of the tightly closed dormitory doors. If any students hiding inside made even the slightest sound in their terror, the creatures would swarm over, crashing into the doors. The mutated creatures had poor eyesight, relying mostly on smell and hearing. The smell of blood permeated the entire 7th floor, and the scent inside the rooms failed to attract them. At that moment, a mutated creature, gnawing on a hapless victim near the door of room 702, seemed to sense something and abruptly turned its head towards the direction of room 703. But it found nothing. The door to room 703 was tightly shut. Wang Cheng had long retreated into the room. Zhang Chao sat on the floor, nervously fiddling with his phone, while Su Xinghai leaned by the window, holding a boning knife, staring blankly at the scene outside, murmuring, "The apocalypse has really come." Eventually, their gazes fell on Wang Cheng. He had foretold the arrival of the apocalypse. "The signal is down, the power is out, I can't contact my parents at all," Zhang Chao said. "Brother, what on earth is happening?" Wang Cheng could only shake his head. Even if he wanted to say something, he couldn't find the words. In his previous life, he had only survived until the 3rd day, without even stepping out of the dormitory. If he really knew something, perhaps he could have saved Hu Yiming from mutating. At that moment, a system notification rang in his ears, indicating that he had just earned a unit of energy points for killing the mutated creature. This lifted Wang Cheng's spirits. Staying in the dormitory was the right choice. There were numerous mutated creatures here. If he could successfully hunt them, he could turn them all into energy points. As the saying goes, fortune favors the bold. Before the apocalypse, one could hide in less populated areas where there would be fewer mutated creatures, but not only would he be unfamiliar with the terrain, the speed of accumulating energy points would also slow down. Without the system, Wang Cheng would have chosen to hide, but with the system, why hide? He needed to accumulate energy points and upgrade infinitely. Ultimately, to achieve longevity, one must possess sufficient strength. Su Xinghai leaned against the side and said, "I also tried, but couldn't get in touch. Sai, second brother, I should have listened to you earlier. We need to keep our family safe no matter what. It seems like the apocalypse has truly arrived, but what should we do now?" Zhang Chao listened to the terrifying howls echoing from the corridor just a door away, feeling a lingering fear. "Yes, second brother, what should we do now? We should be temporarily safe here, but outside are those monsters." After killing 2 mutated creatures, Wang Cheng had become the backbone within the dormitory. They were all filled with dread. The dormitory next door had turned into hell, and who knows how many terrifying monsters were wandering inside that building. At that moment, Wang Cheng raised his head. He had already made up his mind to hunt the mutated creatures and said directly, "We will hunt those mutated creatures. We will carve out a bloody path." Su Xinghai and Zhang Chao were both taken aback. The terrifying forms of Lu Jiaming and Hu Yiming in their mutated states flashed before their eyes. "Those are monsters. Are we really going out to hunt them? Shouldn't we wait for rescue?" Zhang Chao exclaimed. "Wow, I didn't realize you were this tough." Both were surprised. They hadn't expected Wang Cheng to be so brave. Everyone was just an ordinary student, and they were already scared out of their wits. Wang Cheng had personally killed 2 mutated creatures, and now he dared to go out and hunt. Inside the dormitory, outside, most people were fleeing for their lives, becoming prey to the mutated creatures. Yet in front of them, Wang Cheng boldly declared that he wanted to turn the tables and hunt these monsters. Their surprise turned into a complex mix of emotions. They thought everyone was more or less the same in school, but they hadn't realized that Wang Cheng was hiding such a fierce side. He even carried a tactical dagger with him. Zhang Chao couldn't help but ask, "Second brother, you're not from a military family, are you? Did you practice since you were young? You were fierce when you killed those 2 mutated creatures just now. And now you want to go hunt those monsters? We're on the 7th floor. If we don't kill those monsters, we can't get downstairs. Although I bought a lot of things at the supermarket, we will just consume them without a plan," Wang Cheng said, switching to persuasion mode. Listening to Zhang Chao's words, Wang Cheng felt something strange in his heart. Su Xinghai said, "Old Wang, do you think the military and police will come to rescue us? Our dormitory is located quite deep. Those monsters may not reach us right away. Maybe we can hide here for a few hours while waiting for rescue." Wang Cheng clearly remembered that on the night the apocalypse broke out, they heard gunfire in the city, and for the next 2 days, the gunfire was like popping beans. However, regrettably, until the moment Wang Cheng died, the gunfire was still far from them. Therefore, he simply shook his head at this question. Su Xinghai looked deeply at Wang Cheng. He was calmer and more rational than Zhang Chao. Although Wang Cheng said nothing, as a roommate who had been through this together, Su Xinghai felt that Wang Cheng must know some information about the apocalypse that he hadn't shared. However, having been close friends for so long, Su Xinghai believed that Wang Cheng had his reasons for not speaking. What he needs to do is trust. Su Xinghai said, "When Li Jie and the others talked about you, I thought you were crazy too, but now it turns out we were the fools. You are right. Sitting and waiting is just waiting for death. If it really is the end of the world, everyone will be too busy taking care of themselves. Even if there are troops, by the time they come to our rescue, we might have already been torn apart by the monsters on this floor. Fear won't solve the problem. We will eventually have to face those monsters. The narrow corridor of our dormitory is perfect for us to practice hunting those monsters. Third brother, let's listen to the second brother. Those monsters are quite powerful, so let's work together and hunt them." Zhang Chao glanced at Su Xinghai, then at Wang Cheng. To be honest, he felt a bit scared. If someone else had said this to him, he would have backed down immediately. But this was a brother from the dormitory. Gritting his teeth, he said, "All right, let's fight those monsters. We've already killed a couple. Are we afraid we can't kill more? Second brother, without you, I would have already been dead. I'm with you. Let's carve out a bloody path." Wang Cheng nodded, gripping his titanium alloy tactical dagger tightly. Glancing out the window, it's almost dark. Before it gets dark, it's the best time for us to hunt. Once it gets dark, we retreat immediately. In the early days of the apocalypse, the abilities of the mutated beings are at their weakest. Taking advantage of this time to act, the 3 of them can hone their survival skills. Staying in the dormitory would be the best choice. Inside and outside the dormitory building, countless students and teachers were fleeing in panic, chased by mutated creatures. But who knew that in the corner of the boys' dormitory, Wang Cheng and the others had already shifted their mindset and were ready to go out and fight. Chapter 7. Upgrade the handgun. With a creaking sound, the door of room 703 was slowly pushed open from the inside. Wang Cheng was the first to peek out, not fully stepping outside, but scanning the corridor with his eyes. Su Xinghai and Zhang Chao closely followed behind him, gripping their weapons tightly, extremely tense. Their dormitory building was structured in a long strip, divided by a central stairwell and elevator shaft, with 7 dormitories on each side having a bathroom and washing room. The entire corridor appeared long and dim, with blood smeared on the ground and severed limbs scattered everywhere, presenting a scene of death unlike any before. Wang Cheng's dormitory was at the far left end of the corridor, providing a clear view of the entire hallway. The massacre on the 7th floor corridor had not yet ended. Terrifying screams were coming from the restroom, where a group of monsters was attacking a hapless student. Other dormitories were also under siege. At the stairwell, 3 mutated beings were surrounding a student lying on the ground, roaring ferociously. He was a boy from the Tai Chi club, wielding a sword and swinging it desperately. One of his legs had already been torn off, the bone visible, blood gushing out, and his pale face displayed infinite terror. The 3 mutated beings surrounding him seemed less afraid of the sword in his hand and more like they were enjoying the hunt. Seeing this scene, Zhang Chao began to have second thoughts. Should we just forget it? Su Xinghai shook his head. This is an opportunity. These monsters are currently distracted by others. If we wait until most of the people on this floor have been killed before we think about hunting, we might alert all the monsters on this floor. And then we would be doomed. Now is the best time to act. Su Xinghai was rational and clear-headed. In his previous life, he had actually persuaded the terrified Wang Cheng to regain his composure. As a teammate, Su Xinghai was incredibly reliable, and given their roommate relationship, he was a trustworthy partner. The mutated beings had extraordinary physical abilities, and Wang Cheng only had a tactical dagger, which made it uncertain whether he could take one down without sustaining injuries. However, if the 3 of them worked together, their chances would greatly increase. Wang Cheng took a deep breath. The first target is the one in room 706. Once we succeed, head to the bathroom and catch the mutated being inside, like catching a turtle in a jar. Just as we discussed, I will take the lead. Su Xinghai and Zhang Chao, you help me restrain the movements of those mutated beings. I'm going. Su Xinghai took a deep breath. Let's go? Wait, I haven't even, wow. You guys are already going in. Isn't that too bold? Everyone else is running for their lives. Are we really going to confront these mutated beings head-on? They spoke in low voices, afraid of alerting the mutated beings. Meanwhile, Wang Cheng had already charged ahead, rushing toward the mutated being in room 702. gripping his weapon tightly.